Wait, I can only talk about 5 of my favorite Final Fantasy soundtracks? I'm sorry, that's impossible! I love them all! Hey everyone, how's it going? Total Level here with another My Top 5. This time we're looking at my top 5 favorite Final Fantasy soundtracks, and this was not easy. Oh man, I had to leave good number out, including stuff like 13, which Final Fantasy 13 may not have been my favorite Final Fantasy, but I did enjoy the trilogy, except for Lightning Returns. That was a bit disappointing, but the music in it was still great, and the soundtrack for 13 was amazing, and yeah, just a lot of ones I had to leave off. So for this, we're just focusing on kind of mainline Final Fantasies, especially when we get to things like Final Fantasy VII, because, there's like your Crisis Core, your Advent Children, Dirge of Cerberus, right? So there's a lot of different ones, and you can even include the remake, right? So yeah, but yeah, we're just going to focus on kind of the mainline, 1 through 16 and everything, and yeah, and I love this game. I love playing it. I love music rhythm games, and you put Final Fantasy, I love it. So yeah, this this was very, very difficult, but without further ado, here are my top 5 favorite Final Fantasy soundtracks. At number 5, I have Final Fantasy XV, which is also the only one that won't have Nobuo Uematsu as the main composer, and I probably butchered that name, so I apologize for that, but yeah, Final Fantasy XV, I really enjoyed the game, and the music is really fantastic, and you can definitely tell it's from the Kingdom Hearts composer, because yeah, just that style is very similar with the 15 soundtrack, and yeah, just a lot of epic moments with this game and its soundtrack, right? That just really elevates kind of the mood for perfect moments, and yeah, it's something that I just absolutely love. Then at number 4, which this one might seem a little low to people, is Final Fantasy VI. So 6 is one of my favorite Final Fantasies for sure, and for a lot of people it's the first one they would have played, though most likely they would have played it as 3 on the Super Nintendo. And yeah, just a fantastic game, fantastic story, and a lot of characters you get to recruit in this one, right? And they just have so many amazing kind of themes for each of the characters and all that, like having kind of terrorist themes start everything up, and yeah, just having, your boss battle music and Dancing Mad, and yeah, it's just a fantastic soundtrack. But yeah, there's a few others I do have ahead, which part of that is definitely a bias, and one that's going to be next that might surprise some people. And at number 3, it's Final Fantasy VIII, so yeah, this might surprise people, but even though Final Fantasy VIII isn't among my top 5 Final Fantasy games, I still really enjoy it, and the soundtrack I absolutely love. Belong Garden is one of my favorite songs in all of Final Fantasy. It's just so nice and peaceful to listen to, and there's a good reason why. You go on YouTube and it's probably one of the biggest songs that people cover, right? It's just a really nice tune, and then of course you got Man with the Machine Gun is just amazing. Like, just when you first get that Lugana sequence and everything and it plays, it's just, yeah, it really pumps up the action, right? So yeah, Final Fantasy VIII, while it might not be a lot of people's favorites, the soundtrack is incredible in it. At number 2, I have Final Fantasy X. So yeah, this is where the bias comes in, because Final Fantasy X is my favorite, and admittedly, it's probably not one of the greatest soundtracks, mainly because the soundtrack is reused a lot throughout the game, like with the Xanarkin theme. That's used quite a bit with Movement Green and also the Truth Reveals. And then you got Isn't It Wonderful, you know, where that's also where there's other iterations throughout with Yuna's theme along with A Fleeting Dream, but I just really love the music of Final Fantasy X, and 2 Xanarkin has to be my #1 favorite Final Fantasy song, especially when you hear like the orchestrated version. It's just beautiful to listen to, and yeah, again, Final Fantasy X is just like I said, my favorite Final Fantasy, so it's definitely a bit of a bias here. And at #1, I have to put Final Fantasy VII. This was my first Final Fantasy that I ever played, and you know, the soundtrack really stuck with me because if 2 Xanarkin is my favorite Final Fantasy song, then Air's theme is definitely my second favorite. It's a beautiful piece, and the whole soundtrack just has everything for everyone, right? You know, if you want more peaceful stuff, they have the, you know, Tifa's theme along with the main theme for Final Fantasy VII, and if you want like more intense kind of rock and roll type of stuff, you got, you know, your boss battle music with Fight On, and of course One Winged Angel, Genova's theme, and yeah, there's just so much packed into this soundtrack, and there's a reason why this Final Fantasy is still beloved by so many today, right? And a lot of it is just, its soundtrack is near perfection. And so, those are my top 5 favorite Final Fantasy soundtracks. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? You know, what would you put in your top 5? Like I said, and this is me not even talking about the spin-offs or anything like that, because Tactics is a fun soundtrack, same with Type 0, and yeah, and then for the mainline Final Fantasies, like I said at the beginning, 13's a great soundtrack, 9 is probably just missed the cut for me because I love Final Fantasy IX, both the game and the soundtrack, very underrated, so yeah, and for, like, all of it is so great, it's so hard to pick and choose, right? So, let me know what you all think, and I'll see you next Friday for another My Top 5, along with other videos I do. Alright, thanks everyone, have a great rest of your day. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, or if you just want to see any of my skits and then nothing else and leave the video, that's fine too. Thanks everyone, take care.